Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to go over how you can create your own Zoom meeting from the admin perspective. So first off, you want to go ahead and sign into your account. For the most part, students have the 40-minute Zoom account, which is free. Your company or your placement site might offer you an option to have the unlimited version or the premium version of Zoom, which will allow you to host sessions that are over 40 minutes. This is a really great thing to know in case you need to schedule an appointment or a meeting that runs over 40 minutes and with multiple participants. So, to get started in scheduling your meeting, you would want to go to schedule a meeting, and then right here in the topic, you write the name of your meeting or your appointment. You write a description, you write the time. Just please keep in mind that when you're writing your topic, you want to make sure that you are putting the title that you want everybody to see, all of the participants to see. So when you're putting in your dates, you want to put the time that you are going to be hosting your workshop. And it's very important here for you to do a duration, which basically if you invite other people into your meeting, you will be able to block out their time. So it tells them the meeting is from 2 until 4 if you click on 2 hours, or the meeting is from 2 until until 5. So if you click on 3 hours. So it's a really good option to block out people's calendars and to inform them how much time your meeting is going to take. If you want this to be a recurring meeting, click on this and then make these changes here. But if you don't want it to be a recurring meeting, you can delete this check mark. So this is an advanced function over here where you can have people RSVP to your meeting directly through the Zoom link. So if you click on required over here, I will show you how you can access the list of your RSVPs in a few minutes. So let's pretend that you wanted people to RSVP directly through a link. You would click on this. If you don't click on this, that would just mean that you have the link directly to your Zoom meeting that you can send out throughout the day. So here you want to generate your meeting ID. I recommend that you utilize passcodes whenever possible. That way you allow your student or your participants to have a safer experience. For the most part, some of the Zoom sessions in the past have been hacked, so I would highly recommend using a passcode, and of course you could change it to your own passcode. This, of course, is the waiting room, which you're all familiar with. You are in the waiting room right now. I will show you how the waiting room looks on the admin side. And of course here you want to enable or disable your participants from utilizing their video at the start of the session, or disable and enable the audio. So over here we have a few options. I'm going to come back to this later, and this part right here as well. This is something that we will further discuss in a few minutes. I just have to show you how you can get this check mark first. So let's just click save, and then you can edit this whenever you're ready. So in order to incorporate more advanced functions of creating your meetings, you have to go to settings, and you have to go to this section right here under meetings. You check the security option right here. You want to enable the waiting room if you always want your participants to stay in the waiting room. If you don't want to create a waiting room, disable this. You can customize your waiting room as well. You can create your own custom messages. Here there's some settings already preset for you, so just read through it. It's pretty simple to follow. So this is very important over here. The co-host option will allow you to add as many as up to 5-10 people to help you monitor the session. So these participants have the option to help you with the breakout rooms, to help you with sharing their screen. These participants also have the ability to kick out anybody from the session. They also have the ability to mute people. They have the ability to accept people from the waiting room. So I would highly suggest that whenever you host a session, you put your colleagues or coworkers as a co-host. And then here, of course, your screen sharing options in case you want all participants to share or only you to share. Very important over here, is when you initially open up your Zoom account, this breakout room session is not going to be available. You have to manually come in here and click this button in order for you to have the possibility to create breakout sessions. Make sure that you also click allow host to assign participants to breakout rooms when scheduling, just in case you need to put a specific student into a specific breakout room. So enable this as soon as possible. You also want to include this closed captioning option, which allows live transcription services while you are speaking. So this is a really great option when you're talking about accessibility, maybe even with students with disabilities or clients with disabilities, right? So you want to be as inclusive as possible. So I would suggest enabling this closed captioning option when you edit your settings. All of the other options that you see down here are of course optional and up to you, but these are the most common settings that I encourage everybody to enable right off the bat. Okay, so now we can go to the schedule meeting once again so that I could show you the part where we enable the breakout room. So let's go to edit. Whenever you want to utilize the breakout room option, you just click on here and you can create the rooms in advance if you would like. This is a little bit more difficult if you don't know how many students or participants are attending, but if you know the exact number, then you can definitely do this in advance. I will show you how to do it mid-session. And then lastly, of course, you want to be able to either click this option if it's mandatory for your sessions to be recorded. If it's not mandatory for your sessions to be recorded, you can just uncheck this. As for alternative hosts, this is just in case there is another colleague that can take over the session and that can sign in. If you are not scheduled to work during a session, you must put an alternative host's email address and they will get all of the host privileges. I want to make it very clear that whenever you are a host, you are the only one that is responsible for that session. So only you can sign in and open up the session, or else all of your participants are going to be stuck in the waiting room. So by enabling another host, just in case if you're like sick that day or if you're not working, by adding an alternative host, you are allowing another person the responsibility also to start the session without you. So let's click on save. All right, so whenever you are ready to start your session, you just basically go to start. Now you want to enable the live transcripts and then put enable auto transcription, and as you see here, the live transcription is on and the letters will come on once I start my meeting. You can record utilizing this. Of course, the share screen option, you guys already know how to do that. You can just share your whole screen or just individual files. Now for the breakout rooms, you would have to go over here to breakout rooms, and you could create one breakout room or 5, 6, however many you want. So you put create, and then here you would put assign, and you would include all of the people that you want in that particular breakout room. You can also go to the options, and this is a little bit more complex. You can play around with the settings over here, but this is the main setting for the breakout rooms. Once you are ready to open all the rooms, you go to open all rooms, and all participants have been invited to the breakout rooms. And you will slowly start to see all of the participants join the rooms one by one, utilizing this bar over here. You can broadcast messages to all of the people inside the breakout room. So you can say 30 minutes left, broadcast, and then all of the participants will see that message. And then once you're ready to close all breakout rooms, you see here all participants have been given 60 seconds to leave their breakout room, so they will see on the front of their screen that there is a countdown of 60 seconds. So whenever they start joining back to the main room, you'll see over here in this bar which participants have not left their breakout rooms yet. So you can kind of monitor how many students are left in their breakout rooms and who you need to wait for. And of course, you can rename the session. You can rename the breakout room. So for example, they're doing fundraising. You put that as fundraising, etc. Okay, so that is the main overview for breakout rooms, for creating live transcripts. I will go ahead and show you a picture of how your waiting room will look like and what you need to click in order to allow students to enter your main room from the wait room. Okay, now if you have enabled the waiting room, you will see here that there is a pop-up that comes up that says the person's name has entered the waiting room for this meeting. You would click on admit or see waiting room. If you click on admit, that person will be able to hear everything that is going on in the main room, and they are also a part of the conversation now. If you click on see waiting room, you will see how many people are waiting over here. So this is a good way to screen everybody that's coming in and make sure that you don't have any hackers. If you don't recognize a name that's in here, you would want to go to message over here and individually message the people there so that you can ask them follow-up questions like, hi, can I get your ID? What is your name? Etc. So if they aren't part of your group, you would click on remove. And over here, if you recognize the person, the client, you just click on admit, and then you'll start seeing a larger list of people populate into this list right over here. If you want to admit everybody because you recognize all of the participants, you just click on admit all, and all of these people will automatically be added to your conversation. So you see here, everybody is present. And then throughout the entire session, you will see people here in the waiting room. So if you are a host, make sure that you are always checking this participant section, because then if a student or a client comes in late, you are able to see who's coming in late and then either click admit or jot it down, or if you don't check this section, that student or participant will not be able to join the meeting. Now that we have gone over the main functions of Zoom and the administrative side, I will show you how you can easily view who RSVP'd to your event and also who attended your event. It's very simple. So first off, in order to see who RSVP'd for your event, remember that when you have created your event, it has asked you that if registration is required. If you clicked yes, then you will have the ability to see who RSVP'd. And let me put this required section. I'm going to click on save. And then here, under the registration option, you see over here, manage registrants. You can put view, and here it'll show you everybody that RSVP'd. And it'll also give you a quantified number. Now, if you would want to automatically approve everybody that RSVP'd, you can do that, or you can manually approve. I would recommend automatically approved if possible. And very important, if your placement site wants to include additional information, such as people's phone number, their email address, make sure to click all of these, or create a custom question. Typically, whenever you RSVP as a LaGuardia student, you have the option to input your ampl ID. So if there's certain information that you need to retrieve before sending out the links, you just create this question, you put create, you put it as a required question or not, depending on what your process is, and then you put save all. So now you have the regular questions and your additional questions. So let's take a look. This is the registration link. You see here, that's my information, and then it has the ampl ID too, which is great since this is additional information that you will need. Now, there is a very important or good option that you can utilize in order to help you have greater attendance, and is to resend confirmation email. You want to definitely take advantage of this function so that you have the highest attendance rate possible for your meetings. Okay, so now let's pretend that your meeting was a success, everything went well. What you can do is you can go to the reports and click on usage, and then you sort the dates. And you go to, for example, the 7th, you click on search, and here you see our pre-service training series 1, the LaGuardia staff that was there, what time it was created, the end time, and the duration of minutes, and also the number of participants that were in your session. So you would click on the number of participants, and then you will see all of them here. And unfortunately, this option does have repetitive data. So what I would do is put show unique users, export with meeting data, and then you just click on the export option right here. And then once you click export, you will have your own Excel sheet over here. And then of course, you'll see the number of minutes the participant was in there, so you can start tracking if somebody just came in really quickly and just left for attendance purposes. And you can also see here the people's email addresses and the people's names, right? So if you just want to double check that you don't have any repetitive names, as a good option, you can definitely delete duplicates. If you just want to find the unique user, sometimes you can have duplicate data because people signed in and out because they lost internet connection. So to easily do that, you just put remove duplicates, expand the section, remove duplicates. You put unselect all, and you put meeting ID. 18 duplicates were found, and then it deleted all of the extra names that were there. And of course, you might even want to further sort, as we talked about last time, from A to Z, expand the section, and then you have over here all of the data, and you can even visually see if you missed one or two. And that's just a really good practice to have for getting your data and your attendance sheet. Of course, you could also take attendance manually. That is an option, but this is also something to take advantage of for your Zoom meetings. Okay, and that basically concludes the end of our Zoom tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this session, and the next session will be on Microsoft Teams.